I ended up in a wheelchair because my muscles atrophied to the point where I couldn't hold myself up. And I had felt like all those things I had heard when I was young, that I was damaged goods, that I couldn't continue to function. But something, that little spark was already sprouting in me to say, well, no, look, you could do this and you could do that.
Welcome to the Radiant Mom Rising, the podcast that's all about celebrating and empowering the incredible hardworking mothers out there. I'm your host, Mary Dibble. I'm on a mission to equip you with the tools, strategies, and inspiration you need to conquer the challenges of motherhood and life, all while embracing your radiant self. Join us each week for amazing guest interviews, relatable stories, and a whole lot of fun. We're here to create a vibrant, supportive community where we can be our authentic selves, where no one feels alone, and where we uplift and cheer each other on along this incredible journey of motherhood. So, fellow Radiant Moms, get ready to rise, shine, and conquer the world. Let's grow together, laugh together, and make every week a celebration of the powerful, radiant moms we are. This is Radiant Mom Rising, and you're part of a community where your brilliance shines through. Are you ready to rise with us? Let's get started. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so excited about today's guest. Born in Colombia, South America, Martie M. Smith's life has been an adventure marked by 49 moves that expose her to diverse cultures and experiences. She emerged from these transitions with a profound understanding of the world's humanity and a unique perspective on life's challenges. Martie is becoming a beacon of resilience and transformation. Her life journey equipped her with an invaluable wisdom gained through overcoming hardships and embracing the power of faith. Her story is a testament to human spirit's ability to rise above adversities. She is a bilingual coach, personal trainer, and Air Force veteran who not only served this country, but nurtured a deep passion for helping others unlock their potential. Her journey, punctuated by surgeries and traumas, has given her a wealth of life lessons, which she now shares with unwavering determination. Martha resides in North Carolina alongside her husband of 40 years. She adopted a mission dedicated to inspiring others to live purpose-driven lives filled with flexibility and resilience. Plan, prepare, and expect to learn some valuable tips from the legacy she wants to leave behind. Without further ado, Miss Martie Smith.
Today, I get Miss Sweet Martie Smith with me. I'm so excited to introduce her to you. She's an award-winning author, a motivational speaker, coach, and personal trainer. She's just phenomenal. We've been having such a great chat. I'm so excited for you all to hear her story. Martie, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for being here.
Mary, thank you for having me. And nothing pleases me more than to share my story with the world because, I've had an adventurous life. I am originally from Colombia, South America, but ever since I was 5 years old, I've moved all over the place, all up and down the East Coast. I am an Air Force veteran, but I also lived in Venezuela and Colombia where I was born. So to me, I think it was God lining me out to be obtaining tools to adapt to cultures, to be resilient, to be responsive to whatever my surrounding came, and then, learn. But to me, back then when I was little, it was all confusion. And I didn't know, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't love myself because at 7 years old, I was told, and now I know, now way after the fact, I know that parents aren't born with a manual. And it is a very difficult responsibility to adopt a child into your world that you don't know what to do with, and you do your best and you roll with the punches. But my mom told me it must have been a bad day for her or whatever, but it impacted me at 7 years old to hear that I had been a mistake, that they didn't want girls in the family. And I was like, okay. I threw my hands up in the air. I didn't know what to do. And I said, it's not my fault, but I'm going to prove to the world. If I don't prove to anybody, I'll prove to myself that I can do. I am worth something. And I think that little spark in me is what kept me from going over the edge and totally giving up on myself. I did have a lot of traumas in my life. I've had 26 surgeries. I ended up in a wheelchair because my muscles atrophied to the point where I couldn't hold myself up. And I had felt like all those things I had heard when I was young, that I was damaged goods, that I couldn't continue to function. But something, that little spark was already sprouting in me to say, well, no, look, you could do this and you could do that. And the pandemic hit, and that's when like it was full acknowledgement that everything that I had done up until that point, it was like the reality of my life started staring me in the face and saying, okay, you've been a radiation therapist, you were in Air Force, you were this, you were that, you were Jackie of all trades, mistress of none. But what are you going to leave as a legacy? What are you going to leave behind? You want to leave the world in a better place than you found it? That's what you've always said to yourself. Well, how are you going to step up to the plate, jump out of your comfort zone, and dare to be bold and say, I can do this. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know who's going to be involved, but I know I could do it. And little baby steps along the way is what got me. I had a free book camp, wow book camp, that said, you want to learn how to write a book? And I said, I've always dreamt I'm going to write a book one day. I didn't one day never comes because it's not any Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. None of those days are named one day. So when we say one day, we are lying. We are lying to ourselves. Okay. So I said, okay, it's time. If you don't do it now, you're never going to do it. And then it's up to you. It's on you. You regret what you didn't do. So I went to the book camp. The first day I had my book cover. The second day I had my chapters. The third day I was writing. And this is the person that got me inspired to do this was so good at getting us to believe in ourselves. It was awesome. I write my book. It published in December of last year. In January, it won an award for resilience, and it is Resilience Nourishes the Soul. That's the title of the book. The reason why that book even came together, this is how God was aligning all the path for me to go the way that I had been purposefully made to be. And he said, you write your book, but you wouldn't. I went out of my comfort zone and started doing YouTube channel in Spanish because I had renounced my Spanish as a rebel because I wasn't in the culture that I needed to be in according to the world of Marty. I renounced speaking Spanish, and I'm sticking with the American. But I was giving up what God had already gifted me, 2 languages. And I felt guilty. I felt guilty as there's people out there that need you. Even if you don't want to speak it, there's people out there that need you. So I was like, okay, all right, now go regroup and start planning the way you want to. You want to help people? You have resilience, share your story. And when I wrote the book, I was like, oh gosh, I've had so many adventures. It's going to be an encyclopedia biography. It's going to confuse people. They're going to think I'm just crazy. So don't do it that way, Marty. Take all the highlights of every time you were ready to give up and how God stepped into your life. He was dragging you along with it, and somehow or another, you bounced out of it. You learn to adapt. You learn to find alternate ways to do whatever it was that you were pursuing to do. Yes, you hit walls. Yes, you stumbled. Yes, you scraped your knees. You tore your body with 26 surgeries. But he had to rebuild me to make me the person I am today. And I'm so grateful to God because he filled all that I was missing. I forgave my parents. And before they passed away, I took care of my mom who had breast cancer. So that radiation therapist job that I had once had was training me to be, for my mom, the best patient care she could have. My dad had Alzheimer's. I finally discovered how much he had suffered the whole time he had been moving because his uncle, who was born in Colombia as well, was going to be a president. And my father witnessed his assassination. I had no knowledge of this. 3 years ago, I finally discovered that it was something meaningful to dad. And I learned to like fill in. I think God was putting all the little missing puzzle pieces to make sense of all the craziness in my life. And before it was just something that was fogging me completely, and I couldn't see my passion. I couldn't see my purpose. I couldn't find my mission. But it had been there all along when I cleared all those limiting beliefs, all that emotional clutter. My eyes opened to a wide landscape of wow, look at all the things God left you. Look at all the tools He's handed you. Gather them, use them to the best of your ability. That is the legacy you want to live. That is what you want to leave behind for others to learn, that there is nothing in this world that should make you not believe in yourself, that you should give up your life because you're not worth a flip. We are all miracles made by God. If you know Him, I praise you for knowing Him, but share it with the world because some people don't know Him. And that's why they get lost in the shuffle. And I respect everybody's religion, but we all have to coexist in this world. We all have the same. And I think God was showing me with all this international exchange of me being international, He was showing me that we all have many differences, yes, but we all have similarities. We all want to be acknowledged. We all want to exist. We want to do good and we want to thrive. So why not? Why not share my story that I thought was damaged goods and the world doesn't want to hear another crazy story? No, on the contrary, this is my legacy and this is why I am so moved by sharing it. And thank you, Mary, for letting me run with the bulls.
Are you kidding me, Marty? Oh, you are such a blessing. And I absolutely love this. And I thank you for your vulnerability of coming on here and sharing with us and just being so real. It's so beautiful and it's so needed. And there's so many of us out there who want to be able to do this and don't know how to or don't feel safe to. And that's what I want to bring. This is what I'm doing this for. It's for us to have a place where we can come together and know it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to own up to the things in our lives that have held us back for so long because our goal is to be like, no more. We deserve to be loved. We deserve to love ourselves, to have the lives we want. We deserve to be able to turn all that bad, crazy stuff that we've been to into something beautiful that we can share and help so many others who are going through similar things to hopefully not have to suffer as much as we did or, learn from it sooner than later, whatever it is that the Lord brings up, us to share. And also thank you for your services, by the way. I have the utmost respect for veterans and my husband, especially like we always want to acknowledge that too, as well.
Thank
Like,
you.
yes,
Thank you,
thank
Mary.
you. I
I,
mean,
I, like, I wish I could express how much I love this country. Sometimes it's hard because it's made me what I am. Even though I rejected a lot of my heritage, I I also know if I had not moved here, I probably would have never written a book. I probably would have never had that resilience. I probably would have never cared to share anything because I would have been self-sufficient. We were rich in South America. We had every monetary need met, but what I was missing was love. They didn't have time. They didn't have time to love and because we were so busy making money, I guess. I don't know, but I learned to unappreciate money because of that. And then that was another limiting belief because I know when money comes, you can do wonders for other people as well. So you don't have to be wanting everything in your house piled full of materials. Money is the way to help people. And even it's not giving it away to them, is in initiating an inspiration, a motivation for them to pick up the pieces and start going with it. And that's what I want to do is just like at least get them to see that where they've gotten to doesn't have to continue to be that way, that they can turn their life around. And when they start seeing that shift, it's just it just keeps inspiring you more. And then you want to share it. And that's what's contagious. That joy, that joy
That
is what
is
needs to be
it
an
is.
epidemic.
It is. Thank you. And well, you made a good point. It's funny you brought up the pandemic because I actually was listening to a podcast myself earlier today, and I loved what this one woman was saying. She said the pandemic was, of course, a terrible thing that happened. However, it also kind of was a blessing because it allowed so many people to finally get to a place where they had to focus on themselves. They didn't have anywhere to go get busy and do this and do that, get lost in the sauce of work or whatever. And it gave people an opportunity to really have to sit with themselves. And I was like, wow, I didn't even think of it like that. Like, you're right. It just changed our perspective. It changed a lot of things for us. And a lot of
It,
people had grown stronger from it. They've learned
it,
more about themselves. And, because it's true. So many of us, I feel like, do tend to make ourselves so busy so we don't have to acknowledge ourselves. So we don't have to focus on the things about ourselves that we know we need to in order to get better in the way we want to, but we're so scared of it at the same time. And there's such a freedom when you face those limiting beliefs, when you recognize those things, and then you make that decision that you know what, I'm going to do what it takes. I'm not
it,
going to
it
stop.
is
I'm not going to give up.
it is not for the faint of heart, and it is a very brave thing to do, because I think the reason why we are so fearful is we don't want to take a look at ourselves. Our tendency, our human tendency and the ego is to blame everything around you. We don't want to assume responsibility for what we feel or how we think. No, it's something I got thrown at the way I was looking at it for my longest time. I'm 64 years old, but it's only been 4 years since I've actually realized that, oh, I had that a little bit way off on the right scale. It was somewhere in the fog, but no, that's not the way I should have interpreted. And I'm so grateful for that shift too, because you do start and that was one thing that I never appreciated what I had because it lost its value along the way of me wanting to really get what I wanted was love. So if all this was in the way of me having that love, I was blaming the stuff for getting in my way. And it was just all a bucket of nuts and bolts that you couldn't make heads or tails out of. So I never paid it any mind. But what I really needed to do was look in the mirror and say, okay, Marty, why is it this stuff keeps repeating? Why is this a pattern for you? Yes, you've removed all the toxic out of you. And then, no, here you go again. You got it right back. Why? Because you want to play the little violin in the background. And, oh, woe is me. And I'm such a martyr. And I suffered so. And this isn't fair. And life isn't like that. No, there was a reason why you had to go through all that suffering so that you could be strong, so you could be resilient, so you could learn to adapt, so you can be empathetic with other people that are doing and delivering this to you, so that you can have perseverance and persistence and patience and all the P's. Because if you do all that, the best P you earn is internal peace. And when you have internal peace, you know that whatever comes your way, there's a solution. You end up seeing the bigger scheme of things and you start picking out the solutions because you've had that practice. It's like you're going into war, but you have a gun. You have the ammo. You have the life vest. God is my life vest. And he's the one that guides me to pick the right choices. He's the one that I think about what I do before I do. Life isn't busy enough for me to just say, oh, yes, and then say, why did I do that? Because that's what we tend to do. We want to resolve everything instantly. Yes, the computer and technology is awesome, but it's training us to be instant, and no one is instant. We are still human beings. We have to feel, we have to sense, sort out, decide, choose, adopt a responsibility that comes with the choice, and then live out whatever it is that you've picked out to do. But it's just amazing how you start seeing things on both sides of the fence, and you're like, wow, okay, life is surely simple. We messed it all up because we let things get in our way.
Attention, hardworking moms. Are you ready to kickstart your journey to a thriving online business? Introducing Learn and Earn Profits Online Max, a groundbreaking digital resale course that's revolutionizing success. Learn how to create your own funnel and sell this exact course, pocketing a whopping 100% of the profits. Yes, you heard that right, 100% yours. Lipo Max is an enhanced platform packed with incredible modules and valuable insights designed to elevate your online business game. Don't miss this chance to join a supportive community where hard work meets exceptional opportunities. Say goodbye to the hassle of creating courses from scratch. Lipo Max does the heavy lifting for you, empowering you to learn and earn in an environment tailored for your success. Act fast and secure your spot in this game-changing program and set yourself up for a prosperous life. Join the Lipo Max community today. Click on the link in the show notes to learn more or contact me today with any questions.
And it sucks because, in today's world, the societal pressure, I feel like, has gotten even worse. I mean, maybe not. Maybe that you're right. Maybe it's my perception of just where I'm living up and what I'm growing up in. But it just seemed like when I was younger in the 90s, things were just so much more laid back than what they are now. It's like you have to believe a certain way or act a certain way so much. And it's like if you're not, you're canceled or you're silenced. And everyone's afraid to just talk and have a conversation and share
We
their
lost our
opinion.
identity. We
Yes.
lost our identity. And that's the beauty of human beings, that we are all unique. We all have something to offer, whether we believe it or not. That's a whole nother chapter. But we all have something to offer. We can corroborate with each other. And when you open your mind, your heart, and your soul to that, you discover a whole scheme of things that you missed out because
Yeah.
you were blaming everybody else in the world, and all you were focusing was all the bad stuff that happened to you that you can't change because it's in the past. But you can change the here and the now.
Yeah, exactly. And I also want to point out too, you shared your age. I feel like that's always something I run into with a lot of people is they say, oh, it's too late. I'm too old. It's my time's over with. What would you say to somebody who's listening who might feel that way right now in their life?
On the contrary, you have more to look at. You have more to reflect on, because the patterns do repeat themselves. And there is a way to sort it all out. And if you can't do it yourself, find someone to do it. But that's how wisdom arrives. When you start seeing those things that have worked along your life that perhaps you didn't pay because you were too busy being a kid, or perhaps you were too busy being a rebellious adolescent, or you were just I'm going to earn all my money in 10 years because I want to retire early. So you get busy with life, but you don't get busy with discovering you. And that is the difference. So an older person has just as much, if not, well, I could be biased because I am older. If not, you have a whole lot more tools to work with. But the beauty of a young person adopting this lifestyle, you can go to town and be the best of everything that you've ever dreamt of. Because I see stuff coming out of me that I'm like, how did that happen? And at the same time, wow, it's just mind-boggling and mind-blowing that when you flow with life, things start happening, and it's God acting in us. That's the part that
Because it's like when you go with the flow like that, it's like you're allowing yourself to receive it and to hear it
Mhm.
and to really tune into that. Because whether you believe in God or the universe, like I know some people say the universe, I mean, it's a power, it's an almighty power that if you really allow yourself to listen to that intuition, to hear it and to follow it and to trust in it, it will guide you to some amazing, amazing things. It will help you to attract the right people, the right opportunities, the right experience, and baby steps. Sometimes it's all it takes is baby steps. Sometimes that's the most powerful I've seen for me that's worked. Is like, I think that something that used to hold me back was thinking that, oh my God, I have to do this huge, like, planning and goal setting and this and that. I have to make these huge steps and do these exercises or this and that. If I want results, I got to do this, and it would overwhelm me to the point of feeling like I don't even want to get started.
well,
And
that's
so,
that's the that's
yeah,
the lazy ego
it
wanting to
is.
take over and say, "Oh,
It-
you want it like this, you want it
yeah,
fast."
yep.
But when you develop that discipline to do the attainable goals of getting up and going to go start to do something, and you start waking up a little earlier, and you start sorting your day with priorities
Mhm.
instead of just winging it and letting it roll, then that's what overwhelms us when we just let things come at us. All right, things are going to continue to come at you, but when you have a disciplined life, you can shoot them off of you, because you have your focus on what you want to attain and accomplish along the way. And it doesn't make a huge difference. So, no, don't give up if you're old. If anything, start sharing what you learned, because you're going to learn fast.
Yes, I think that's wonderful. And that's kind of what, as a coach, what we try to help people with, because it is so easy to really want something, but to feel so overwhelmed by the ideas of what could and couldn't happen, the uncertainty of it all. But there's ways to, even looking at a big picture, to work backwards and really break it down, like you say, to those attainable steps that you can start implementing right away to start working towards it until one day, bam, it happens. It starts happening for you. I mean, I know even just in my own experience, it's been amazing to see the growth, to see how much I've grown, how much I've learned. And I'm excited because I know I'm only going to learn more, which means I'm going to be able to provide that much more value to the people that I work with, the people that I serve, because that's what I want to do. I want to make a difference. I really want to help others on their journeys to not feel so alone, to believe in themselves, to love themselves, and create a life that they desire, because we all deserve it and it is possible. And I'm tired of us feeling like it's not just because,
Amen. And in
you know?
those baby steps, and you see those small attainable goals. Because I used to say the same thing. It's like, woo, that's an awful lot of work, and I don't have time. I'm too old, and I'm not gonna make it. Okay. No, no. It's surprising when you let yourself go and do it and be brave enough to jump that comfort zone. Because once you're out there, you're like gonna do something. And you don't know what you're gonna do, but you're gonna do something, because your body's wanting to go, like, okay, I gotta get comfortable in here. That's the first thing you want to thrive is find the comfort. So the little baby comforts that come along in that process of facing what's in you and making those small attainable goals. Once you start looking back at all those little baby goals, then you start seeing the bigger picture. Oh my God, I got that much done. If I got that much done, how much more looking ahead can I have possibly pile up?
Yes.
All I had to do was give myself permission to fail. And that's another thing. When you're facing something different, and when you're way out in the comfort zone, way away from anything that makes any sense to you, you're going to have fear. But use that fear to drive you, and prove to yourself that there's a reason why you can't do it. Okay? That's going to make you want to do it.
No.
Because you're like, oh no, I got this. I got this. So you start pumping yourself to do it.
Yes.
Okay? And then when you do it, you go, wow, I can't believe I did it. But see, that right there, that little step is what got you there. And then you look back and you're like, okay, if I could do it that way, then maybe I could do it this way. But all the people that you read about, I don't think that there's a person in history that hasn't been successful that didn't suffer failure. That's like the most important key point in attaining all these baby goals. Don't be afraid to suffer. Don't be afraid to fail, because if you do, you're going to survive. Just like you did when you were a little kid and you nicked your knee, whatever, you dust it off, you pick up and you keep going. It didn't keep you from walking the rest of your life.
Exactly. Well, sometimes you learn the most too from those. Like you really do.
Exactly.
You learn the most from those experiences because then you can learn different ways of going about it next time. It really
Mhm.
does help you to grow all the time. You're right. It's so part of the process. It's meant for us all, and it is something to embrace instead of run away from or resist because you don't want to have that ability of resistance to. Because then sometimes that leads to a lot of times things going exactly in the way that you're trying to resist because of the resistance you're trying to face it, if
Right.
that makes sense. So
Yes,
yeah, I do.
absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah,
When we're in that zone that no, we can't do this, and then you start throwing your past as, look at all the stuff I failed at, and I don't want to fail no more. That's what your mind, your ego is saying to you, but your heart is going, there's got to be something out there for me. There's got to be, and when you connect your heart with your body, because your body will alert you. It has that mechanism built in you that when you start getting like a doubt and you start thinking about something, like you're obsessing with it, it's that somebody's telling you somewhere down the line, be careful, be deliberate on what you want to accomplish. If not, if you don't pay attention to your body, then you're just going to jump and do. And then you're going to say, why did I do that? I should have listened to my body. But I've learned this along the way. I trust you. I've done it the opposite way 1,000 times before, but now I know. Now I know. It's like my body's going, think about it. Think about it real good indeed. Take your time. Never make a decision when you're angry. Never make a decision in a hurry. And never make one when you're sad. Those three, because when you're angry, you're going to be reactive. You're not going to see the full picture. When you're sad, nothing's good out of all that comes out of your thoughts and minds. And then the other one is, when you're in a hurry, you don't have time to digest all that stuff, to pull it apart and say, okay, this may present a problem. No biggie. I'll find an alternative way. And you start looking at the big plan. Little baby steps. You have to do a little road work. It requires homework. It
oh
does
yeah.
require homework. But you could go at your own pace and do your own thing, but learn to do the steps that are necessary so you don't regret.
I love it. That reminds me of a post that I saw too that I think is so powerful. Like if you're on a journey of being an entrepreneur, it says entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. And I
I
found
want.
that, yeah, it's exactly, yeah. And I think that's such a powerful message right there in itself, too, kind of like what you're saying. It's not one of those, you're going to make this decision to do something and it's going to be easy peasy. Everything's just going to happen. No, there's work that's involved. There's dedication. There's a sacrifice. There's a lot that can go into it, but it's so worth it. And the more you go into it with the intentions of, being true to yourself, being authentic, pursuing something that is a part of your values and what you're meant to do in life, then it actually ends up growing in such a beautiful way than you could ever expect, even through all that. I know there's been times with myself where I would want to take time to just not do anything, but then I might get started doing something for my business. And then the next thing I know, like hours
Wide
have
open.
gone by and I'm like, but it's like, it fills my cup. I'm enjoying it. Does not feel like work. I absolutely love it. And then I'm like, I got all this accomplished. And so sometimes you might surprise yourself, especially when you really are in line with what you're meant to do, that a lot of the time it doesn't even really feel like work. And that is, I think, is such a beautiful feeling. for anyone out there who is exhausted from their day job and work, because we all know what that feels like of being in a job that you're unhappy with, don't really care for. It drains you, but you feel like I got to do it because I need the money. Like there's nothing worse than that
And
feeling. But,
I agree with you
yeah.
100% on that, Mary. And I will say that I have had, and I'm grateful to God that I have the privilege now
Mhm.
to say that I wake up every morning and I thank the Lord for me waking up in the morning. I'm grateful that I'm alive. But what even more grateful I am is that I'm doing everything that makes me grow, that makes me know, and I can share. And I never ever imagined that as a little kid. I never imagined it as a adolescent. I sure but didn't imagine it when I was first married. And now my husband thinks, wow, he doesn't even recognize me. Like we fell in love all over again. And he's been a saint to me because of all my surgeries and everything. He was there every step of the way. And if the roles were reversed, I don't know that I could have been that patient with myself. But that's just God putting the right people, the right, I call them little earth angels that have come along the way and
Yeah.
pulled out all these things out of me that I didn't even know I had, and made me see the value in the human being that God created as for me. And I'm just grateful. I want people to realize, just taste it. If I could bottle this and taste the feeling that it is to live on purpose and really feel like you're contributing to the world, it's undescribable.
Beautiful. I love it. I love every bit of your story and everything that you've been through, and the fact that you are here right now, living your life with purpose and doing this exact thing and helping so many others. I want to make sure that everyone knows who are listening. I'm going to share the links in the show notes. You should pick up this book for sure and check it out. I think it's so great. If you or you have, do you have any other plans for any future writings?
Well, I didn't have plans other than to translate my book into Spanish, and that was it. But between all that planning and that big roadmap, I had little maps pop up along the way. I've contributed to two other books as a corroboration in international books. One is Grateful Hearts, and it's about during the pandemic how I coped with the pandemic, which was my initial journey to make. And then I realized that YouTube channel was holding all my chapters. That's why everything lined up. The YouTube channel was in Spanish, which was, I should have looked at it a little deeper and say, God is putting you in the Spanish mode, so don't forget about it. But I did it in English first, and it's like, wow, I did it in English. Now I do it in Spanish. I'm flying out to England. I won that prize in January. I'm now Women of Impact of the Year 2023 story, something. I won something. I don't even know what I won because I've had so much going on. I mean, it's like blessings are getting thrown. I'm having an avalanche of blessings. And I'm grateful to everything that's happening to me, but sometimes I'm like embarrassed because I can't even wrap my head around to describe what it is I'm getting. I do know that I'm flying to England in November, and I am nominated for a Women of Hearts Humanitarian Award. So it doesn't matter if I don't win, just the fact of being nominated to me is the biggest thing ever. So I am grateful for everything that's getting put in front of me. That is such a blessing for me to get even more inspired to do. So I do have another book that I'm being corroborating in, and it's called Plan, Prepare, and Expect to Win. And that one is with other people as well. And then there is a book in the background, actually two books in the background that I'm writing. One of them is Creative Chaos Warrior, which is kind of a step from the pandemic and how I've gotten to where I'm doing. And then the other one is my actual biography. So
Oh, okay.
that's plenty for at least the next couple of years to stay busy. But I just love how things are just falling into my road, and all those missing puzzle pieces is what's making me pick up and go with it and fly with as high as I can fly and share as much as I can before God calls me home.
Yeah, I love it. I definitely think God's going to use you in so many ways and for so long. So I'm so excited to see you on your journey. Keep us posted in the Facebook group. Let us know about your award. Share some pictures in there. I want to hear all about it and your journey to
Sure.
England. That's going to be awesome. I'm rooting for you. I am so excited for you. And I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to be here with me today, to share your story and just be in my energy because I love it. You're fantastic.
Thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor to share with women, and that's what I want. I want to share with my sisters out there that there is a way to dust yourself off and keep on getting it. And we don't need. Yes, we need other people in our lives, but we don't need to expect the joy that we have within us. Once you start doing everything that I'm talking about, you're going to be beaming with joy. And that joy is going to attract you to the person you might be wanting to find. But it's in you. It's in you. Every potential good thing that exists in this world is in us. We just have to dig it out.
Absolutely. And if anyone out there needs any further support in that, that's what people like me and Marty are here for. We are here to help pull
Amen.
that out of you. You know,
Amen.
absolutely. 'Cause we want to see you succeed and thrive in life and just be happy because you deserve it. You deserve it. Thank you so much again, Marty, for being here with me today. I
Thank
can't
you. Thank you. God bless you and keep you continue to make other people listen to the good stuff in the world. There's so much out there, so much information, so much misinformation, but the information that's good, take it. Take it and run with it because there used to be a time when none of this was offered. And I was in that time when I was on my own trying to dig out whatever, and I didn't even know you could find a source to figure it out. But I'm grateful for that as well. So
And thank you again. Like I said, it's amazing to be able to do this and truly make that difference. And that's what we're here for. You're right. The shift from the negativity it's been put out there into the positivity that's truly exists in this world. Like that's what our focus is on.
Here are the key takeaways from today's episode. Embrace your journey. Your experiences, setbacks, and achievements shape who you are. You face challenges. Just like our guest Marty, her life journey reflects adaptability, resilience, and the power to overcome hurdles. Like Marty, you have a unique story too. Your past may have trials, but they don't define you. Marty's upbringing involves confusion and doubts, but it ignited a spark that kept her going. Embrace your story. It's a part of your strength. Marty battled feelings of being damaged goods, but she found her way through self-doubt. Just like her, challenge those beliefs that hold you back. Recognize your worth and the power within you to rewrite your story. Marty's journey wasn't a giant leap. It was small, consistent steps like joining a book camp and eventually publishing her own book. Start small. Those baby steps lead to significant strides towards your goals. Your setbacks aren't permanent. Learn from them, grow through them, and you'll discover an unwavering strength within. Trust your journey, even if it seems uncertain or if you feel it's too late. There's always room for growth and discovery. Embrace who you are, honor your heritage, and share your unique experiences. Your authenticity is your strength. You can find out more about Marty by visiting her at martiemsmith.com. Be sure to check out her book, Resilience Nourishes the Soul, available on Amazon. Links provided in the show notes. Lastly, subscribe to my show and leave me a review. Your feedback is much appreciated. If you want my support on your journey towards creating a life you desire, then visit me at marydibblecoaching.com or contact me on social media to learn more about my offers and programs and how I can help you find the results you are longing for. Let us radiant moms continue to rise and enjoy life to the fullest. Until next time, much love.